Hey guys, this is Veronica with Oh Happy Plants. I am back to answer some more questions that folks have submitted to Settle Asian Lee's channel on Instagram, and we are doing this giveaway. I believe tomorrow is when it ends, but I will continue to get all of these videos to her and answer all your questions just to make sure all of those get answered. Once again, I will actually be posting these videos over on my tutorial site, and if you want more information or if you want to ask more questions, feel free to find me over there. The link is I mean, she can post it with this story, I'm sure, but it's https members.ohhappyplants.com. If you just Google Oh Happy Plants, you will find my main web page, which is geared towards wholesale to houseplant shops, and there's actually a link right up at the top to go and join that member community, and it's totally free. I just want really good information out there. I see so much misinformation and just like stuff that's put together by people who maybe have had one of those plants for 6 months and they have figured out some things, but I've had 40 of them in 40 different locations for years. And so there are nuances that one person with one plant just doesn't quite catch on to unless you have had that plant and it's followed you around for 20 years into multiple different homes, many different environments, and you've really, really paid attention. I know that I had houseplants for 16 years before I started that job in Interiorscape, and I did not learn near as much as I needed to know to have that job. So there's a lot of information about just plants in general. Each species is going to respond differently in different environments, and that's what I want to teach people, is the simple concept, the complex concept of adaptive houseplant care. It's very complex, but once you get it, you just start looking for the signs and you start listening to your plants and interpreting what they're telling you. So let's go ahead and dive into these questions. I'm going to try to knock out quite a few, but I'm not going to make these videos super long, so there will be several videos here. Okay, number one, I don't have enough grow lights for all of my plants. What do I do? And let me tell you that I don't either. I don't think enough grow lights, like as a thing, I don't think that exists. I don't think anybody has enough grow lights. So what you do is you make some tough decisions. I could show you my setup here, but it really wouldn't help, I don't think. Your plants need different, sorry, calendar reminder. Your plants need different things, and certain plants are going to acclimate better to darkness than other ones. This guy right up here doesn't really care much as long as it gets some light. I love the way this one grows though, and I love the way it looks in front of a window. He's crazy. He's like, I don't know, 5 feet tall now. He's massive. It's a Rojo Congo philodendron, and I have him climbing up a pole. Even though he doesn't climb it, he's more of a ground-dwelling plant. He's a flopsy plant that lays on the ground, but I have him tied to a post. And I love this plant, and so he has a prime location in front of my window, and I just want him there. I just like looking at him. Every single day I look at him. And so you're gonna make some choices based on which are your favorites, and like, I'm sorry guys, but they're kinda, I mean, they're all my favorites, but I definitely put that one there because it was a really good spot for him. I think I mentioned in a different video that my house is very small and I have very few windows. And so as far as grow lights go, I have 2 right here. I've got one over there where I do my propagations, and it is by a south-facing window, but I have an additional grow light just to make sure that my orchids and my Hoyas and things get enough light, especially the ones that are having a little struggle as they grow roots, because I just got some cuttings from various people, and I'm working on growing those. So it really depends on the plant variety, and it really depends on kind of the situation that you're in, what fits in your house. Can you cluster plants right around your windows? If you can, do that first. Those plants may not need grow lights if they're right up close to a window, especially in the winter. We're here in the Pacific Northwest, and in the winter time, our windows, like even a west-facing window, which during the summer may burn certain types of plants, in the winter time, you're not gonna get them burnt at all. The sun gets so like chill in the winter time that they're totally fine. And If you hear any noise, my son is just doing origami over there on the floor. So I apologize for any background noise, but it is what it is. Anyway, so as far as plants that don't need grow lights, typically the darker color the leaf, the less light it needs, as kind of an overarching guidance for that. But the other piece of that is that certain plants, like this Alocasia poly that's sitting right next to me, wants more light than anything all the time because it just is fussy like that. So some plants are very, very dark leaves, but they want more light anyways. And people will tell you that ZZ plants and snake plants do great in the dark, but that's, to put it gently, they will not grow well. The growth that you're going to get is spindly and long. They definitely are way touchier with watering. You want to let them go drier for longer, but then you don't want to water super heavy when you do. If you let it go dry too long, the root hairs die and all of this. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Snake plants and ZZ plants are from Africa, like close to the equator, a lot of them, and they're either from like low-lying forests or like kind of like where the grassland edges up against the forest. That's where ZZ plants are from. So it's really bright there. And snake plants, a lot of them are jungle dwelling plants. And so they like a decent amount of light. So like think rainforest style light like the rest of our plants. As far as putting them in the dark, you are signing yourself up for spindly growth, similar to how succulents get all atoliated and snake plants and ZZs do the same thing. If you see a ZZ with flopsy growth that isn't like thick and burly like how it comes from the nursery, that means you have a light issue. So once again, wrapping back around to the actual question, what do I do when I don't have enough grow lights? Number one thing you could do if you have an extra $30 kicking around is go and buy another one. They have this one right here, this clampy guy with a bunch of different arms. I've got a couple of styles of those and I'm quite happy with them. This particular one does not have the USB port. What I found with those is when they have the plug that has a USB that plugs into it, the plugs go bad pretty quickly. I think I had one that went bad within a year, and then it started like getting hot and I was kind of scared to use it because I don't want to start a house fire or anything. So with those ones, be a little careful. I don't buy those anymore that have the USB connection, but this one just has a hardwired plug, and so far it's been great, and it's got a timer on it and everything. It's dimmable and all of that. So I love this one. You can position it, you can get it pretty close to the plant leaves. Like I have it, I think the closest I have it is about 6 inches away from a plant, or 4 inches away, but it's not burning them at all. So it's not super intense, which I actually like because I will just put it right up against those plants. And also it's kind of like ambient lighting. It's like mood lighting in my house, all of my grow lights. So I prefer that anyway. So one thing you can do, obviously, is get some more grow lights. If that is not a practical solution, whether you don't have places to put the grow lights, or you hate the way they look, or you don't have the money to buy more, that's totally fine. Cluster your plants around the windows as much as possible. Be prepared that if a plant is facing a window and only getting light from one side, you'll need to turn it on a regular basis. And then also remember that a lot of the lights in our homes, and like especially lights in office buildings and stuff, but even the fluorescent lighting in our homes, some plants can survive just on fluorescent lighting. I actually, when I was working that job for 7 years, I had plants in a basement and they were fine, and they would even grow. They didn't want a whole lot of water. And so that's the thing. If the plant is getting less light, it's going to just naturally use less water. So you want to really pay attention to the adjustment there. But other than that, in the wintertime, I don't have major issues with lighting, except with begonias. I'm looking at you, this guy right here threw off 2 leaves because I didn't put it right under a grow light, so I'm sorry, little friend. But anyway, certain plants are going to tell you about how they hate the winter time, and other plants are going to be like, okay, well, this sucks, we're not going to grow, but whatever, you know, and they're going to be fine. You really want to pay attention to a plant in the dark that just that it doesn't use as much water. So really pay attention to your watering and how much you give it. It's not about watering every Sunday. It's never about watering on a schedule. It's about checking on a schedule because we are human and we make mistakes and we forget things. And so we need calendar reminders. If you're anything like me, I need an alarm set for everything. So have that alarm set, but don't assume that you need to water on that day. What I tell people usually for a 6-inch plant, until you really know the plant, check it twice a week. Just like lift up the pot if it's in a nursery pot or a lightweight pot to see if it's heavy. If it's heavy, it's wet. If it's dry, it's light. And then you know when to water it. And you'll kind of get a feel for it as you work with these plants. I know a lot of new plant parents are popping up all over the place who are like overwhelmed because COVID happened and they all of a sudden have 45 houseplants when they had like 0 when this whole thing started. And like, I feel for you, just come over to my, my membership site and I will totally help you out on all of that. And there are a lot of Facebook groups. Just one of the things to really pay attention to is just all of the scheduled watering advice, all of the folks who jump on overwatering as the solution to your issue or the problem that you're having when they haven't even asked you if the soil is wet or dry yet. Just all of those things. There's a lot more nuance than a one-word answer when somebody has no idea what's going on with your plant. So be careful with that. Okay. Let me loop back around. This is way too long. Sorry, I get off on tangents sometimes. What do I do with not enough grow lights? Chill a little bit. Your plants are not going to hate you forever. You might notice a little bit of decline, and you probably will notice that they stop growing. That's fine. They're going to start growing again soon. Spring is coming. I have said for years that spring is the day after the winter solstice. So like December 22nd is springtime. That's in my book because my plants start telling me that it's springtime really soon after that. So the light will come back. If you're at like a really far north latitude, the light is coming back. Just hang tight. You know, your baby plants will be fine and they will make it through this. So yeah, just do as good as you can. If you notice that a plant is declining and if you think it's because of a lack of light, which is very likely this time of year, check your watering first. And then if you feel like you need to, and if you have the space, go ahead and move it around and see if you can reposition that plant and, you know, put it in front of a grow light or by a window and it should do fine. Once again, look at the direction your windows face. East is great. South and west are wonderful for plants in the winter. North is not so good because we're like up near Seattle area. The sun actually moves south in the sky because of the tilt of the earth. And so you're going to want to, if you can, move your plants away from the north facing windows and put them more towards the other windows in your home. I said that right. Okay. I lost my sentence. So if you can do that, do that. If all you have is north-facing windows, just jam them right up against the window. Don't worry about them getting direct sun. It will not hurt them this time of year. Just do your best and they will pull through. And also, if you kill a plant, let me just say that I've killed hundreds. So don't feel bad if you've killed a plant. I still once in a while kill a plant, and it's whether I forget it or I just like, you know, don't care or something like that. Or if I bring a plant into my home and I look at it and I'm like, well, you better live, like make it or don't, you know, but this is what we're doing. Sometimes plants die and sometimes you just need to get another and figure it out. So just keep trying. Anyway, I will get on to these other questions in another video. This is long enough. So have a great night. Bye guys.